Hey everyone, RogueGold here, welcome back to the Division 2. And today, I've got a quick news roundup for you all. There are a couple of important stories that I want to hit. If you haven't noticed, things have been pretty slow lately around the game and community, that is for reasons that we're going to cover. However, as of today, we finally have word on when some major fixes for issues such as the empty stash bug, dysfunctional directives, and more are coming our way. Additionally, we got confirmation on how long the loot goblin is going to continue carrying event items for. Spoiler, the answer is not much longer. So I just wanted to jump on today, let you all know the latest, and we'll get right to it. So if you enjoyed the video and you want to stay up to date on everything with the Division 2, then I hope you will consider clicking that subscribe button. We'd love to have you around. As we dive in, as always, I have to give a major shout out and thank you to our channel members. Their support is what ensures that I can bring you these consistent videos, so big thank you to them. But without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so let us begin with what is likely the most important story and information for many people here, bug fixes. The latest major update in Season 2 of the game with Year 7 Season 1 back at the end of May, it brought with it some issues, like most of these updates do. Now, a few of the big ones that we were running into got fixed up with the 0.1 patch that we received a few weeks ago. However, many, such as the empty stash bug, again the directive issues that we talked about, and more, were not fixed. And despite those issues being slated for the next patch of Year 7 Season 1.2 on the known issues board, we've been given no indication on when that patch would actually arrive. It's been several weeks since 0.1. I myself was beginning to wonder what was up when it was confirmed that it would not be coming this week. However, we finally got word. As per a tweet from the devs after today's maintenance, somebody was asking where the patch notes are for today's maintenance, and they said this just wrapped up the summer event and included infrastructure work. Full patch notes with fixes will arrive next week with the Year 7 Season 1.2 update. So there you have it, it's confirmed. Year 7 Season 1.2 will arrive next week on Tuesday, July 15th. And according to the known issues board, that includes fixes for the aforementioned empty stash bug, multiple directive issues, call for backup bugs, and more. So yeah, it's been a wait, but it is finally coming. As for why it has taken so long, that reason is likely at least partially explainable. I'll talk about it a bit more in the final section of the video. That said, I do really think the ball was dropped in terms of communication with this whole thing, right? It's understandable that these timelines can be somewhat out of their control, with things like patch verification processes that you have to go through with Microsoft and Sony. There are documented examples of when those kinds of things have held up the pipeline. However, having things like your stash being suddenly empty in the game is a major issue, and I'm sure there are thousands upon thousands of players out there who are not online regularly. They have no clue that this is a bug, and they probably just think, wow, I just lost all my progress, my stuff is gone. And so, instead of spamming apparel bundle notifications in game and on Twitter every few days, maybe we should send out some reminders saying, hey, this is just a bug, we're working on a fix, here are the workarounds you can use for now, apologies for the delay. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. I get that this stuff can't always happen overnight, but in the future, it would be nice to see some greater efforts made to mitigate confusion and the potential repercussions of players being disgruntled by this whole thing. Alright, next up though, I wanted to briefly address the fact that the window to farm the loot goblin is closing. So as many of you know, when seasonal events are active, and by that I mean stuff like the winter event, summer event, all of those, the loot goblin has a chance to drop any past event items. And that has been even more relevant recently due to the buffed drops that he got in this season's 0.1 patch, as well as the fact that we just got the new slingshot SMG added the other week. So the actual summer event itself concluded today, or last night when they did the maintenance, and many players were wondering if that would signify the closing of the window to farm him as well. The answer is no, but time is running out. The team replied to a question on Twitter asking about the timeline of this whole thing, and they said it will continue to drop event items during this patch, Year 7 Season 1.1. Now, thanks to the other information that we just covered in the previous section, we know that Year 7 Season 1.2 arrives next week on July 15th, and if we put all of that together, that means that you officially have 1 week left to farm the loot goblin for event items, at least until the next event arrives, which is likely going to be in a few months. So if you don't want to wait until then and you want to pick up some additional slingshot copies, get expertise for past items, whatever, get to it right now. If you missed it, I did make a full guide on how to efficiently farm him after the recent buff. I will link that in the upper corner and down in the description in case you want to check it out. Alright, and then finally, I just wanted to briefly talk about what has been going on behind the scenes right now and take a quick peek at what the road ahead might look like. So for any who may be newer to the community, July is usually the slowest month of the year for the Division 2, at least it has been in these recent years, and there are a couple of reasons for that. For one, with the current yearly and seasonal calendar that we've been on, new seasons usually kick off in early June, and so that puts July in that kind of usual mid-season slump window. But then furthermore, Massive Entertainment, who is the lead developer on The Division 2, their studio is in Sweden, and this month pretty closely aligns with the yearly government-mandated time off that the entire country is given, right? To emphasize, this is not like a game developer or Ubisoft specific thing. This is a nationwide policy that Sweden enforces that employees have to be given a certain amount of time off in the summer months. And so what that then means is that many devs on a rolling basis are out of the office, and obviously that is going to lead to less work being done, less communications being sent out, all of that. So long story short, I do not know if that is what has contributed to this 4-week gap between Year 7 Season 1.1 and .2. It very well could have, though I don't know if any kind of similar program is in place in Romania, where the Bucharest team works out of. But still, regardless of the reasoning, delays in fixing critical issues is not fun. And as stated, even if this delay was needed, some greater communication on why it was all happening, when they thought things might get fixed up, that would have been nice. But yeah, anyway, the underlying point is I would expect the rest of July to be relatively quiet. With Scout number 7 of the season releasing today, that means that the Year 7 Season 1 Climax mission currently should be set to drop on August 5th. That will bring with it, obviously, new story revelations, a new master mission, a new exotic, which is a big deal this time around, given it is the Tinkerer mask, which many are saying is going to revolutionize build making in The Division 2. So we have that to look forward to. I would also expect around that time is when we should start hearing more news about the next update, possibly seeing a PTS around then for Year 7 Season 2. And so yeah, stay tuned for it all. As always, I'll keep you up to date on the latest right here. Well, my friends, that is all I have for you on this one. As a quick recap on this roundup, Year 7 Season 1.2 arrives in 1 week alongside our first Scout HVT. That patch will bring with it many of the fixes we've been looking forward to. In the meantime, until that date, farm the loot goblin if you still need to, go get those items. And then in a couple of weeks, things should begin to pick back up, so we've got some exciting times ahead. As usual, any thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever you've got, let me know down in the comments below. Look forward to seeing what you're thinking, but that is just about going to do it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Out.